Hare Krishna. My name is Janardana Krishna Das. I'm currently a brahmachari in America, staying at Krishna Life in Tennessee. I've grown up my whole life in America, and I was born in a state called Pennsylvania. It's in the north, but shortly after that I moved down to Florida because they have a nice devotee community there in a town called Alachua. They have about 2,000 devotee. There's families, they have lots of children there, they have schools. Both of my parents are devotees. They joined the Krishna consciousness movement in Europe, both of them. My father, he's American, but he was traveling in Europe, pursuing a career for singing. He wanted to do this opera singing. They have very good practices and schools for this in Europe. So he was traveling around like that, and in Germany, he met the best kind of opera music. He heard the Harinam Sankirtan party going up and down the streets of Germany. And actually in America also, he used to stay in California, and this is during the 70s. So he would see the devotees actually, but he was just very young. He just thought these are some, crazy people. But he was like a little bit attracted. He saw that these are happy people. He saw they had something different, but it didn't leave so much of a lasting impression. But at this phase of his life, he was very much searching, very much looking for something spiritual, something to really fulfill him. He was going here. He traveled all throughout Europe, but nothing made him happier than Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. So he joined in Germany. They have a farm there. And he was brahmachari there for about almost 10 years. 10 years he was brahmachari there. Shortly after joining in Germany, he moved to Sweden because at the time in the 1990s, Europe was kind of the peak of the Krishna consciousness movement. For those who remember, they were top class in temple construction and book distribution and book production, in Varnashram projects. And it's because of that, actually, that this Mayapur temple that is now being built, Harikesh Swami at the time, he was very instrumental in getting that project researched and going. So my father, he moved to Korsnäs in Sweden, and he served there editing Harikesh Swami's books and also helping out with the community. And then my mother, she's natively from Austria, which is a small country kind of between Germany, Croatia, Czech Republic, and kind of that area. So her story is even more amazing, and it relates nicely actually to Srila Prabhupada's book distribution, which is my main service right now. She, out of everyone in her family, her whole family, they're very Orthodox Christian. But from a young age, she was interested just randomly in things like Indian culture and vegetarianism. I think at 16 years old, she was the first person ever in her family to take up to a vegetarian diet. Most people, they thought that if you don't eat meat, you'll die. But she just out of her own interest, not because anyone was telling her, or it wasn't fashionable like it is now. People go on vegetarian diets or vegan diets. It's very much fashionable now, but previously not so much. People thought that you were crazy. And she actually read a couple versions of Bhagavad Gita, not Srila Prabhupada's, unfortunately, but different commentaries and different scholarly interpretations. But none of them really interested her because they didn't have the real message that Srila Prabhupada was giving. And one day she attended one of these fairs, these expos they have for people that are inclined for spiritual things, and the local Austrian devotees, they had a book table. And they kind of stopped her down and they were trying to tell her about Bhagavad Gita, and she said, oh yeah, Bhagavad Gita, I've read that a couple of times, it's not very interesting. And they said, oh well, we have this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is like the higher knowledge that comes after the Gita. And they were telling her a little bit about Bhagavatam, and she was a little bit interested, but she mostly bought the book because the devotees were pushing her to get it. And she was like, yeah, anyway, I came here to see other things, you know. I guess I can buy this book just so I can please these people. It probably won't help me anyway, but maybe I can give it to someone, friend, or maybe I'll read it one day. So she got this book, and previously the devotees, they used to take down names, phone numbers, emails, any way by which they could contact people that they met on book distribution. So she gave them a phone number, again, mostly because they were insistent that, oh yeah, you should give a phone number, you never know what could happen. And after this, she attended the rest of the fair, she went home, and she took this book and she put it on her shelf. That's all. And she never expected that she would read it, but then about 1 month later, the devotees, they called her up. Like, oh, Hare Krishna, how are you doing? And she's like, oh yeah, doing good, who are you? She's, oh yeah, we met you at this fair. Have you read that book yet? She was like, oh, no, I haven't got the chance to read that book yet. I've been busy, I've been doing this. And then like that, the devotee was like, oh, okay, but maybe next time, you know, maybe in the next couple of weeks you can try and read it. And like this, each month would pass, and at the end of the month, the devotees, they would call her. And each time she would tell them that, no, I've been busy, no, I haven't read the book. And this went on for a couple of months, and she said it got to the point where she was so annoyed with them calling that she was like, I'm going to open this book, I'm going to read 1 or 2 pages, just so I can tell them that I tried reading it, I didn't like it, and you can stop calling me. And she said that from the first page that she started reading, she kept reading for hours and she couldn't stop. Because she said that all of the answers to her questions were found within the first canto. They used to distribute as a single book the whole first canto of Bhagavatam. So she said for the next 2 or 3 days she was just reading, and she read the whole first canto of Bhagavatam. And then she was just eagerly waiting for the devotees to call her so she could say, I read the book, tell me more, give me more. So when the devotees called, she was so happy, and they invited her to the temple. And then it took her about 1 year's time to move into the temple, but she also moved into the temple. She was serving as the secretary there in Austria. And then she also moved to Sweden to translate Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book from English to German. And that's where she met my father. They got married there, and then they moved to America because of different circumstances that were happening in the devotional community at the time, and also because, again, my father, he's American, so he had to return because of some passport issues. So that's how I ended up being born in America and not in Europe. But that rigorous time that they spent in Krishna consciousness, my father, his almost 10 years training as a brahmachari, and then my mother having so much attachment for Srimad Bhagavatam and for serving the devotees, it was very instrumental in my upbringing. My father, he's no longer alive. He passed away. But up until the very end of his life, he was always chanting, hearing something, reading something, speaking something about Krishna. He was always very Krishna conscious, and seeing that as an example growing up for me was very, very inspiring. And all the time he would take us to temple programs. We would go sometimes even for Mangal Arti. Every day, actually, because in the Alachua community, we have schools that are on the temple property, kind of like we have here in Salem. where the Gurukul, it's right there by the temple. So also in Alachua, it was just maybe a 5-minute walk to my school. So every day my father would make it a point, at least we had to go every day for Darshanarti and for Guru Puja. And we would stay for about like half an hour. So there would be, like I said, the Darshanarti, the Guru Puja, a little bit of Hare Krishna Kirtan, and then we could go for class. So must have been maybe from when I was 4 till I was about 12 years old, I did like this every single day. And something else that made a very important impact to allow me to be where I am today is my mother. For the first, I think, 9-10 years of my life, she didn't work. She was staying at home, and her main job, which is the most important job in this world, she was a mother. And she really, really took care of us. And she would make sure that, again, we would never have to eat any food from outside, because she is an amazing cook. She can cook many, many wonderful things, like all wonderful, responsible mothers can. Very expert in this art of cooking. So we never had to eat anything from outside, which is a main problem nowadays in the movement, where parents, they both work. It's difficult for them to arrange prasadam properly. So a lot of devotees, unfortunately, they eat food from outside, or they take bread from outside, or different things like this, which might seem small and might not make a difference, but they actually make a very, very big difference. And I was able to experience this like firsthand experience, So these things combined, I think, made a very big impact in leading me to where I am today, because I can see that amongst my peers, my friends that I grew up with, not many of them are taking seriously to full-time Krishna consciousness, not pursuing initiation by a bona fide spiritual master, not interested in chanting so much, 16 rounds daily, following strictly the programs of rising early and reading Srila Prabhupada's books, not just as a formality, but really studying these books. You don't really see this so much, and I'm very much thankful to my parents and all the devotees that help encourage and inspire them. This is our system, right? Parampara. That the inspiration is coming down from Krishna himself through all of his bona fide representatives. So because of this, myself, I'm living currently as a brahmachari. Like I said, I've been in the brahmachari ashram for almost 3 years now, and planning hopefully to be able to serve in this capacity for the rest of my life. Currently, I'm managing serving as the Sankirtan leader, managing the great, phenomenal book distribution that we have going on in Krishna Life in America, traveling all over the country. My brother also, he's only 17 years old, but for the last 2 years, he's been chanting 16 rounds every day. He's regularly reading Srila Prabhupada's books. He's read most of the small books, most of the big books. He's currently reading the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. He's doing full-time university also, but he has 2 more years left, and after that, he plans also on joining full-time in the ashram in Krishna Life as a brahmachari. And then I have an older sister also. She recently married to a initiated devotee who's chanting 16 rounds. She's also every day chanting 16 rounds now. She stays very close to a temple, and she tries to do service every single opportunity that she can. Every weekend she has almost full day service. She also goes for preaching programs at the local college in Florida where she stays. So because of my parents' example and inspiration and austerity is performed in devotional service. They were able to inspire the three of us, all of their children, to be somewhat serious about Krishna consciousness, which it's unfortunately rare nowadays for children of devotees to take very, very seriously, like I was saying. So, I guess more about specifically how I came into the association of seriously practicing devotees. Like I said, up until I was about 12 years old, I was very enthusiastic about Krishna consciousness. Pretty much all of my friends were devotees. Like I said, I was going to temple every single day, pretty much. But after that, because the facility isn't so much developed there, I had to attend non-devotee or karmi school for about, I guess from when I was 12 till I graduated university. So university wasn't so bad because I was chanting 16 rounds at that time. I was very inspired, but especially as children, we're very easily influenced by our external environment, our circumstances. So like that, I was influenced very heavily by, I was pursuing, I wanted to pursue a career in sports, in athletics. That was the main goal of my life. At that time, I was struggling so hard, practicing hours and hours every single day. And then also I was interested in different things that karmis are also interested in, girlfriend, all this kind of stuff. And like that, for about 4 years, the 4 years in America, we have what's called high school. I don't know what they call it here, but it's the last 4 years of school before you go to university. So during that time, I would say was probably the darkest period of my life. Obviously, looking back now, I can see that there's a lot of lessons that I learned, and for one who, at least like myself, who's trying to be Krishna conscious, I can look at even the bad experiences and see, okay, how have I been able to learn from this, and how has this been able to improve my life, to shape the person that I'm trying to be now. So I won't speak so much about those days because it's not so relishable to speak about. But at the age of 17, during my last year of before I went to university, the material things that I was struggling so hard for in my life, it kind of all started to fall apart around me. The main sport that I was playing was soccer, but I stopped playing in my last year because I wanted to focus more on academics, because I really wanted to attend a prestigious university and kind of go more into the studies side of my life, because it's the field of sports is very competitive. So using my little intelligence that I had, I was able to see that I wasn't going to make it. So I gave that up, and I kind of started to push more for studies and education and that kind of stuff. And then just trying to figure out, like, okay, like, what do I want to do with my life? Most people, even, especially in America, in universities, they get some degree in something that they don't even want to do. They don't even like doing it. A lot of them, they don't even use it. They spend so much money, so much time, and they don't even use it. But And then also, yeah, different just relationships around me. They all started to kind of fall apart, and it was the fruit of my mind was finally ripe to get some little bit of inspiration for Krishna consciousness. So I see it directly as Krishna's arrangement, because my spiritual master, His Holiness Bhakti Vikash Maharaj, one of the first books that he wrote or started to compile, it wasn't the first book that he published, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the first books that he worked on, was this book, Brahmacharya in Krishna Consciousness, where it basically delineates and describes the lifestyle, the philosophy behind, and the practical application of what brahmachari life in the modern age looks like and how it should look like. And one of my friends, he was reading this book. He was thinking about joining an ashram. And he was very inspired by reading it. And he was like, you should also read this book. It's me and a couple of my friends, we famously call it the Orange Book. So you can anyone who's reading the Orange Book, you can tell that their material life is in trouble. Their material life is in trouble of completely falling apart, and you have some small chance of completely surrendering your life to Krishna. If you see anyone, especially in the West, walking around reading that Orange Book, people are very afraid of it. So I also started reading this book, and I was growing up. I never really saw any brahmacharis. I never really met people that were living this life in the brahmachari ashram, fully dedicated. Because in the Alachra community, it's mostly grihastas, or they have like this in-between bachelor ashram, where you're not really a brahmachari, not really a grihasta. You're just kind of in between. So it's almost all people like this. So growing up, I didn't really know what it was to be a brahmachari. I didn't really see any examples. I remember one of my friends, two of his brothers, they became brahmacharis, and like it was a big thing. I think one of them was brahmachari for maybe like 3-4 years, and one of them for maybe 1 year. Their Guru Maharaj had asked them to at least dedicate some part of their life. But that was when I was already older. I was maybe like 15, 16 years old at that time. So I didn't really know so much about what the brahmachari ashram was like. And also about Srila Prabhupada's book distribution. I didn't know, I myself barely knew that we had all these books, even though my father, he had always cases and cases of books. I was like, what are all these books about, you know? I never took the opportunity to read any of them, but I would always see like, oh, like so many books. I wonder what they're all about. But I never even thought that we should be distributing them. So I read this book, and it was exactly the fire that I needed in my life. And that's when I first took instruction from my now spiritual master. I didn't know at the time that he would save me in such a amazing way that he has, but that was the first manifestation of his mercy in my life, was that book. And yeah, if it wasn't for that book, and if it wasn't for the devotee that gave me that book, I'd probably still be floating around somewhere in the deep dark well of Maya. But luckily, it all kind of happened. Looking back, I've been able to see that events in my life, Krishna orchestrated them exactly at the right point, exactly when I needed them to take up to this path that I'm on right now. So that gives me a lot of encouragement to keep on going forward with it. But this book came to me at just the right time. And one thing that inspired me a lot about it is that I saw it was very practical. It wasn't just something philosophical like, oh, you aren't the body, you're the soul, these are the modes of material nature, this world is full of suffering, but it had like practical things. Like the first thing that I implemented from that book that upset my mother a little bit was I got rid of my bed. In the Western countries, it's normal for everyone to have a big bed which takes up like half of the room. So I immediately in that book, Bhakti Vikash Maharaj, he was just like, yeah, having a bed is a waste of space. It creates more of a dirty atmosphere in your room, and it promotes laziness. Because if you just have a big bed in your room, what are you going to do? You're just going to lay in there. So he said, if you get rid of your bed, then actually it'll help prevent all of these things. So I was like, yeah, that's very true. It's very practical. So that was one of the first things that I started doing. And then diet, I also adjusted a little bit. I started emphasizing rising early, and I started regularly chanting. And these, just very small things in my life that I did, I saw it made a big difference. And just what my consciousness was absorbed in and what I was able to accomplish both spiritually and materially. So that gave me a lot of faith, actually, that Krishna consciousness has something substantial. It isn't just some community-centered faith organization that you go to, you have a nice meal, people say some things to make you feel good, but it's actually a practical and substantial philosophy that you can live your life off of. And not just live any sort of life, but live practically the best life possible. And then after this, I went to university. And then even in university, I was always trying to chant something, trying to attend these morning programs, Mangalarti, trying to read something. And I first met Krishna Life devotees also at probably the most opportune time in my life. It was, like I said, it was definitely a manifestation directly of Krishna's mercy, because previously I had been going at least 1 or 2 times a week for Mangalarti. But I hadn't gone in about 4 months, and I was feeling so bad that I wasn't getting that spiritual strength that you get from going for Mangalarti. And I would even try to go sometimes. I would wake up and I would get out of bed, but then my mind would just convince me that, oh no, the best thing for you to do is to get some more sleep, like already you have so many things that you're doing, you're pushing yourself so hard, So like this for 4 months, I hadn't gone. And then one day I was just convinced. I was like, okay, today you have to go, you have to go, you have to go. And then it just so happened that day, 2 Krishna Life brahmacharis, they were driving through from South Florida up back to Atlanta, where they were staying. And they were there at the temple for Mangalarti. And I was, I had been reading this book about brahmachari life, and to see 2 young, bright, enthusiastic brahmacharis, it was Mahotsa Prabhu and Abhimanyu Sutta Prabhu. For anyone who knows them, they know that these 2 devotees are like the personification of ecstasy, enthusiasm, and the word fired up, it describes these 2 devotees. So seeing them for the first time, and they were just jumping in ecstasy in the Mangalarti, and everyone else, they were like kind of, a lot of the devotees in Alatra that attend Mangalarti, it's a lot of the Prabhupada disciples, a lot of the more senior devotees. But these 2 young brahmacharis, they were just so enthusiastic, and I was just so amazed by their example. And like I said, I was reading about brahmacharis and brahmachari life, and I was kind of waiting for an opportunity like this to meet fired up and enthusiastic devotees, because on our own it's very difficult to practice spiritual life. Like I said, for me, just to push myself to go to Mangal Arti once a week was difficult. But when you have the association of very fixed up devotees, something very difficult, it shrinks up and it becomes very, very easy. And now, for the last 3 or 4 years of my life, I've been going to Mangal Arti every single day. And it's like not even been like a question in my mind. It's just like, yeah, everyone else is doing this, so I can also do it. Why not? And then I spoke after Mangal Arti with Abhimanyu Sutta Prabhu, and he was like, you should come to Atlanta. You should come. We have a big temple. We have lots of brahmacharis. You're just here in Alachua. There's not really so much inspiring association for you. You know, as a young man, you need other brahmacharis to be around. And at the time, I was at kind of like a crossroads in my life where I could choose. I could either choose. I had 1 more year of university left. I already had potential jobs lined up because I had made different acquaintances and relationships with people in the field that I was in. So I was basically already set up for that material path, and it was very secure. It was very easy for me to just continue to go down that path, or because I had the good fortune, I was able to study without taking any loans or paying anything. So when I graduated, I would have zero debt. I would have zero material responsibility. And I could actually choose to fully give my life to Krishna consciousness without anything kind of pulling me back. You know, people, especially people that we preach to at colleges, they have so many things like family responsibilities. Like I said, they have so much debt already. You know, they're 19, 20 years old and they're already hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. They already have job responsibilities. They have this, that, and the other thing. But I was free. Krishna had given that situation for me where I could honestly choose without any external motivation. Is this actually what you want to do? So I visited Atlanta, and that's also when I had a very profound experience. It was my first ever experience with Srila Prabhupada's book distribution. For new people that come to the temple, it's very rare that you send them for book distribution. But somehow or other, Krishna inspired the devotees to kind of push me out the door and go for book distribution. So I got to go out with Mahotsav Prabhu, and I knew about his glorious book distribution. So I thought I would just maybe hold some books for him and watch him. And when we got to the spot, he said, okay, I'm going to go and take lunch. There's some books in the truck. You can start to distribute some on the street. And I was completely shocked. I had gone technically for book distribution once, but I was not interested in it at all. I didn't even try to distribute one pamphlet or card or small book or nothing. I didn't even try. I was just kind of out there, just like looking at the sky, looking at my friends, just like looking at the clock, when are we going to go home? So I was forced to go out there and try to explain to people about these books. And I thought that I knew something. I thought that, because in my own community, people would often praise me for practicing seriously. Oh, it's so nice you're coming from Mangal Arti. It's so nice that you're chanting. Because, like I said, it's unfortunately very rare for someone in my position to take seriously to Krishna consciousness. So it's very nice that they were encouraging me, but my false ego, it got a little bit puffed up, and I thought that I was very advanced. But when I was on the street with karmis who didn't care anything about me, they didn't know that, oh, you were born in a devotee family, we should respect you. They just thought, yeah, who is this crazy guy with long hair? I had hair at the time maybe down to my shoulders still. Who is this guy trying to give me some books that I don't want? And this is on the streets of Atlanta, where people are a little nicer than in big cities like New York or Chicago, where I've since gone for book distribution. But yeah, it definitely wasn't a very welcoming atmosphere. It isn't like I had a table and an event and people were coming up and asking me about the books, but I just had to stop people and get them somewhat interested. And even people that were interested, they would ask me, okay, what are these books about? And I would stop for a second and just honestly be like, yeah, I don't know what's in these books. And I was so bewildered. I was so just, at that point, I realized that I have to surrender. And I have to take this very, very seriously. And for half an hour, I mean, I gave whatever I could describe as somewhat of an honest effort, but I distributed 0 books, nothing, for half an hour. And then Mahotsa Prabhu came out and he said, so, how's it going? How many books distributed? And I was like, Prabhu, nothing, not even a single book. And he just looked at me and was like, what? Nothing? Not even one book? Give me those books. I'll show you. And then he took the books from my hand, and the first person that he stopped, they bought one Saptarishi set, which is a set of 7 hardcover books. And I was just in amazement because he was standing in the same spot that I was standing. He was holding the same books that I was holding. But the difference is that he was fully convinced and he fully knew page by page what was in these books. And he was able to just with so much precision and conviction explain to people about these books. And at that moment, even I was convinced. I was like, these people have what I need. These people have the tools and the resources to help me be Krishna conscious and actually make advancement. I was practicing something, right? Something's better than nothing. But I wasn't making any advancement. I was kind of maybe like a little bit every year, like maybe 1 drop of water at a time if you're trying to fill a big bucket, just doing 1 small drop at a time. That's what I was doing. But with these devotees, it's like if they were to break a dam open of the whole ocean of Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and to fill my bucket, I just have to dip it down for 1 second, and it becomes completely full. So that day, in half an hour, Mahotsa Prabhu, he distributed something like 2 or 3 Saptarishi sets, maybe like 10, 12 Bhakta stacks. And I was just watching him the whole time, just completely amazed. And he even pushed me, and that day I was able to distribute my first Saptarishi set. But it was completely by his mercy. That was the first day when I really learned about the mercy of the devotees, because I would try and repeat some of the things that he would say, and then when I would forget, I would kind of look back at him, and like he would jump in and help me out. And these 2 boys, they bought 1 Saptarishi set. They each split the price half. So after that very moment, I was convinced that, yeah, no matter what I do with my life, I'll be benefited if I spend some time learning from these devotees, because they have exactly what I want. Not only what I want, they have exactly what I need. I was able to understand that, this is what I need. Growing up, I was never lacking in anything. I wasn't like well off or rich or anything, but Krishna always provided for my parents so that they were never needing anything that they didn't have or that they couldn't arrange for themselves. So materially, I had experienced pretty much everything desirable. And none of it satisfied me the way that practicing seriously Krishna consciousness and the association of devotees did. So since then, my journey in the brahmachari ashram has been another manifestation directly of Krishna's mercy. Right after joining the ashram, they enlisted me as the personal servant for His Holiness Bhakti Vikash Maharaj, which was an opportunity that people dream of having. And very early on, I got the opportunity to spend day in and day out with my spiritual master, and just so much mercy was there, and he really just showered me with his mercy, and I got to get a small glimpse into what it actually means to serve the Guru, to serve the spiritual master, because, like I said, even though I grew up theoretically understanding these things, I didn't actually do it myself or go out of my way to experience it. So Krishna very quickly arranged for me to experience all of these very wonderful things. And then right after that, Maharaj, he left America. He went back for India. And then straight after that, I went for distributing Srila Prabhupada's books. Then I was serving as, I guess I did that for a couple of months, and then there was a need for a temple commander at the ashram, so they saw that at least I wasn't completely crazy, and I had some propensity to be maybe a little bit organized, so they threw me into that position, and I got to serve the devotees doing that. And then after that, also the opportunity came for Krishna Life, which is famous for book distribution. I got the opportunity to be in the service that I am now, serving as the Sankirtan leader. Means I arranged for all of the books that we have, for the vehicles, the places that the devotees go. And I get to see that hopefully all the Sankirtan men are happily engaging in their transcendental book distribution. So that's the service that I'm currently doing now. And I also very ecstatically get to go out for book distribution. It would, if it were up to me, I would, get to go every single day. But sometimes it's not like that because of weather, because of different management circumstances. But this last year, especially, I tried to spend every last moment that I had on book distribution. And, there's so many stories. Of course, I could spend maybe the whole rest of the day just telling stories about book distribution. But one thing that I saw is that if you're just out there and you have Srila Prabhupada's books and you have the desire to distribute them, and you really perform some austerity to really encourage people to take these books, Krishna, he'll send you people that are interested, people that are enthusiastic, and people that this is all that they're looking for. Like my mother and father, they were really looking for Krishna. They were looking for Krishna consciousness. And Krishna, just at the right time, he sent devotees, he sent the holy name, he sent the books of Srila Prabhupada to help uplift and inspire them. So just like that, I was so practically able to see that if I just went out there for book distribution, and some days even at these universities, I would spend 8 hours, 10 hours, even a couple of days, even 12 hours I spent just out there at the college campuses, just talking to these students, trying to encourage them to take books. And for me, I'm not such a big book distributor. There's other devotees that can at one time distribute so many books, but Krishna's given me at least some stamina, some opportunity to be able to go out for a long time. So I often say that the only reason that my book distribution numbers look even somewhat comparable to other devotees is because I spend sometimes 2 or 3 times the amount of effort and time out there trying to convince people to take these books. And yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last year, trying to share with as many people as I can Srila Prabhupada's books, and seeing so many people, like especially at these colleges, so many people taking these books and being so inspired by them. And hopefully one of them, hopefully more than one, but even at least if one of them, maybe they can be in the same circumstance and situation that I found myself in, and they can also take up very seriously to Krishna consciousness. Even if one soul can become interested in Krishna consciousness by my service, that'll be the perfection of my life. So I would encourage anyone who's been born in devotee family to take very, very seriously to this practice of Krishna consciousness, because there's really nothing else that's worth it in life out there. There's really nothing else that's worth living for. And some training in the brahmachari ashram should be there, but especially in Atlanta, we've moved from there and we've gone to Tennessee, and we're starting this farm where people of all circumstances and situations, they can come there and they can live simply and just focus on being Krishna conscious. You don't have to worry about working so hard just for your basic necessities of life. You don't have to worry about compromising so much with materialistic association. You don't have to have all of the gadgets and gizmos that come with living life in the city, but you can just live simple and happy life and just practice Krishna consciousness, and you'll find that it's actually the thing that you're looking for. I was able to experience that so just to such a high extent, and it's been so great that I hope to be able to live the rest of my life like this, no matter what the situation changes, no matter what the people change, no matter what the circumstance changes. That I've seen that these principles, if you follow strictly, a lot of people, they kind of follow half and half here and there. They try and get the best of both, but what ends up happening is that you aren't in ignorance. Most of the people that are enjoying in this world, they're either high-minded spiritual people who have dedicated themselves to serving God, or they're completely in ignorance and they're living just like animals who think that they're happy just chasing after money, chasing after women, just completely in ignorance. So since devotee children, they've been given that opportunity because of previous either desire or higher situation in this material world. You don't have that ignorance that a lot of these materialistic people have. So you can't actually get any happiness from living a material life. And you also aren't getting any of the bliss of Krishna consciousness, because the advancement in Krishna consciousness, it depends on the attitude of the follower. So to get the ananda, to get the bliss of Krishna consciousness, we first have to take the medicine to kind of help bring us up to a platform where we're actually able to appreciate Krishna consciousness. So because we're neither practicing seriously nor we're ignorant enough to just enjoy material life, we just find ourselves suffering. That's it. Just suffering throughout life. So if anybody is suffering in life, you can find your nearest ashram, and you can inquire from the devotees that are practicing seriously what that blissful life looks like. And anybody, we all have our bead bags, we all have the books in our home. We can chant every day, and we can read these books, and it'll be the best possible thing that we can do, you know. So that's a humble request that I can make for anyone who might have been taking some time out of their day to listening to my story about how, by the mercy of my parents, senior devotees in my community, and other Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis that have helped mold my journey and help guide me and inspire me. Some of it's been positive inspiration, some of it's been negative inspiration also, but I've been trying to see it all as inspiration nonetheless. So thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to His Holiness Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj.